Hi, my name is Ashwand. In this story, you'll see how an HOA Karen tried to hand my lake cabin over to her son, and how I calmly used proof and planning to bring their whole head office to its knees. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to QZ Stories. Now let's jump right into the story. The paper at my door. He shoved the paper into my chest like a sheriff serving a warrant. His grin stretched too wide, too confident for his own good. HOA says this cabin's mine now, he said, eyes flicking toward the porch swing like he already owned the view. I didn't even look at the paper at first. I looked at him, the lazy confidence, the way his thumb hooked into his belt like he had already won something. That arrogance told me more than the document ever could. Let me back up. Years ago, I bought this cabin as a quiet retreat. Lake water clear as glass in the mornings, pines whispering in the wind. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Titled, taxed, and recorded with the county clerk. I didn't live here full-time, but I paid every bill, kept the property clean, and came up whenever I wanted peace. Karen, the HOA president, never liked that. She called my place dead weight, said empty cabins hurt community spirit. What she meant was it bruised her ego that she couldn't control me the way she controlled her little circle. Her solution? She reassigned my cabin to her son using a fraudulent new residency rule. That's the paper he waved in my face. I finally unfolded it, scanned it, then calmly tucked it back into his hand. That's interesting, I said. Let's see where it goes. He thought my calm meant surrender. In truth, it meant I was already calculating my next move. Stay calm, stay smart. Always. Most people, cornered like that, would have stormed to a lawyer's office, maybe shouted, maybe begged. But I've learned noise helps no one. Information does. So I went home, cleared the kitchen table, and spread out every document I owned. The deed, the old land survey, HOA bylaws. I read line by line, sometimes twice. That's when I saw it. A surveying error from decades ago. A strip of land, small, narrow, but critical, actually belonged to my parcel. And sitting smack on that strip, the HOA's glass-front head office. The very building where Karen strutted like a queen. I didn't call anyone. I didn't tip my hand. Instead, I quietly hired a local fencing crew. They didn't ask many questions, they just wanted the boundaries marked. I laid down orange survey flags all the way around my cabin, tracing the true property line. When I reached the office, I planted one flag dead center of their parking lot. The morning the crew arrived, saws humming, Karen burst out in her floral dress and pearls, waving her arms like she could stop construction with volume alone. You can't just put up a fence, she snapped. I handed the foreman the survey papers, not even looking at her. Build right on the line. My voice was calm, polite, almost casual. That calmness, it enraged her more than any insult. Cedar posts rose one by one, steady, straight, undeniable. And with each one, I felt her grip on control slipping. By noon, half the fence stood tall. Board members gathered like anxious pigeons, clipboards clutched to their chests. Karen's son no longer smirked. He looked pale, sweat gathering on his brow. That deed he had waved now felt like a toy in a child's hand. They tried threats first. You'll be fined, one man barked, shaking his clipboard. I didn't respond. They tried intimidation next. Notices taped to my cabin door. Bright red stamps declaring violation of community spirit. I didn't tear them down. I photographed each one, slipped them into a binder labeled evidence. When you stay calm, their chaos becomes proof against them. At the county property meeting 2 weeks later, I walked in with that binder, my deed, and the survey maps. I didn't make a long speech. I didn't rant. I simply laid the documents on the desk. Officials don't care about noise. They care about facts. Karen stood up, her voice shrill, calling me uncooperative and toxic to community values. Her son sat behind her, arms folded tight, eyes on the floor. The officials barely looked at her. They kept flipping through my papers. Real power doesn't come from a loud voice. It comes from being prepared when the truth matters. And in that moment, I knew exactly how this would end. 2 weeks after the hearing, the county's ruling arrived. My property rights? Confirmed. Ironclad. The HOA's reassignment letter? Declared fraudulent and void. But the best part was the addendum. The office building. Since it sat on land legally belonging to me, my fence was lawful. The HOA had two choices: buy the strip at market value or vacate. I read that line twice, slowly, savoring it. Then I folded the letter, slipped it back into its envelope, and placed it neatly on my table. No gloating, no shouting, just quiet satisfaction. The next board meeting, Karen's face was a study in collapse. Lips trembling, hands twisting her notes, eyes darting like a cornered animal. Her son sat silent, shoulders sagging. I stood, calm as ever. Payment certified, 30 days. Or your office moves. No more, no less. Stay calm, stay smart. The law was doing the shouting for me now. 30 days later, a certified check arrived. Market price plus legal fees. Enough to cover repairs, upgrades, and still leave breathing room. I used part of it to rebuild the dock. Fresh cedar planks, sanded smooth. A new bench at the end where I sip coffee in the mornings, watching sunlight paint the lake in gold. The air feels different now. Cleaner, freer, as though the place itself knew it had been defended. The HOA? Their power evaporated. Residents whispered, then shouted, then voted. Karen was gone by the end of the season. Her son left town quietly, no victory strut this time. New leadership came in, neighbors who fixed potholes instead of harassing property owners. The rules became fair, simple, neighborly again. And me? I never had to raise my voice, never had to rage. I just stayed calm, stayed smart, and let preparation deliver the justice. Every time I walk past that cedar fence, running neatly past their old office doors, I feel the same lesson echo. Justice doesn't need noise. It needs patience. It needs proof. And when people try to bully you with fake authority,